What's up, everyone, and welcome to another Voice of Apple Valley podcast. I'm your host, Steve Famiano. Great to be with you today. Thanks for joining me on a show that I think will interest just about everybody that lives here in Apple Valley as we talk about our town roads and specifically fixing the fixes. And that term will make sense to you after we get through today's show, where I'm going to bounce around quite a bit to try and tie together exactly what this issue is about. And before I get into this, when I say this topic basically is relevant to everybody that lives here in Apple Valley, I think our town roads are so connected to us on an individual level. We don't even think about it sometimes. We have to use our town roads to get to work. We have to use our town roads to take our kids to school. We have to take our town roads to go to the grocery store. Anything we do in town, wherever your house is, you're utilizing the town roads on a daily basis. And I think most know here in Apple Valley that our town roads are not in the best shape that they could be in. Now, you will hear from the town that the budget is limited on what can be done, and we know that spiel, right? That can almost be its own podcast, and possibly will be one day, because I know the issues with roads are on the top of everybody's minds. But today, specifically, I'm going to be talking about actual roads that were repaired and money was used to repair those roads. Now, the repairs didn't necessarily come out the way the town was assuming the repairs were going to be done, and that will all tie together as I work my way through today's show. So let me start off with back in 2023, the town of Apple Valley went out and did some assessment on roads around town, trying to figure out which roads needed to be repaired the most and which were in, I would say, the most dire need of being repaired. Typically, and I think most people see this around town every now and then, the way the town roads are repaired is through micro resurfacing. And the micro resurfacing is basically just like a thicker slurry type mix. And they lay it down on the road. It fills into the cracks, and it looks pretty good when it's done. But that is the typical way that the town of Apple Valley utilizes road repairs. And because micro resurfacing, of course, is a lot less expensive than doing regular asphalt. But this map that I have up, and you can see the dark black lines, the little Sharpie lines on the roads that are on this map. These roads were deemed unmicro resurfaceable, so the town could not do micro resurfacing on these roads, and these roads needed new asphalt put on them. So what the town did, they went out to bid in 2023 for a cold mix overlay to be placed on these roads around town. And if you don't know what a cold mix overlay is, it's basically a process of taking a layer of asphalt, laying it or overlaying it on top of the existing road. And basically, you have it right there, a brand new road surface. It's smooth, no cracks. It's basically a new road placed on top of the old road. Now, one of the things with overlays is that it's definitely less expensive than tearing up the road, removing all the asphalt, fixing the sub base, and then putting another layer of asphalt and basically a new road on top of that sub base. Basically, the road becomes the sub base for the new asphalt overlay. So that bid that the town put out was for a cold mix asphalt overlay. And I've done a lot of research on asphalt, and I've learned that there's a lot to this. There's cold mix, hot mix, and keep that term in mind because hot mix will be coming up here in the next few minutes, and that relates to this story. So in 2023, they put out to bid for a cold mix asphalt overlay on those roads that I showed you in that map. The work was done. The work was completed on those roads, and in December of 2023, the town of Apple Valley accepted that work that was completed. This is from December 12th, 2023. This is a town council agenda report that was recommended for the town council to approve the work that was done. And it says, accept the work completed by CalMex Engineering as part of the Cold Mix Overlay 2023 project for a total contract cost of $1.3+ million. And then down in the analysis, It says engineering staff inspected the project and deemed the work to be complete and acceptable. So the town council approved the work that was done. The contractor was paid at the end of 2023. Everybody moved on. And I assume everybody thought that everything was going to be great and hunky dory and the roads were good in those areas that were done. And come to find out, that is not what happened. So from the end of 2023 to the summer of 2024, some issues started to arise with the cold mix asphalt overlay that was used to repair these roads. And in researching for today's podcast, I figured out, well, part of the problem was the cold mix was really not the material that probably should have been used to repair the roads. As you can see here, it says durability. Cold mix is generally less durable than hot mix asphalt and is not intended for permanent use. While cold mix is a good option for temporary repairs, it's important to note it's not a permanent solution. So going back to 2023 and the town putting out this bid for a cold mix asphalt overlay, I'm not sure what the town was thinking at that time. After reading that, which only took me about, I don't know, 10 seconds on Google by typing it in, that a cold mix type asphalt is technically used for temporary repairs, maybe to patch up something that is not a permanent. Maybe if you're repairing water lines and you got to repatch the road for that day and you got to dig it back up the next day. I mean, that would make sense. But cold mix asphalt is not meant for a long-term solution for a road repair. So what happened from the end of 2023 when the work was completed to the summer of 2024, that cold mix on most of those roads started to fail. And what happened is a term called asphalt bleeding. So as you can see in this picture, if you look at the road, you see these dark marks. That is what is considered asphalt bleeding. And what happens is there's a binder in the asphalt that holds it all together. And they call it bleeding because that binder starts to come up out of the asphalt and come to the surface, as you can see in this road right here. And it becomes slippery, it becomes oily and sticky. And they don't really use tar in roads anymore, but we still call it road tar, the black stuff that gets on our vehicles from the roads. That stuff will start sticking to your cars as you drive it. So those roads that were done with the cold mix asphalt overlay started to have this asphalt bleeding problem. Now, this could be because too much binder is put into the asphalt. This could be a compaction problem. This could be an environmental issue where the heat causes it to rise. For whatever reason, that cold mix asphalt that was used to repair those roads in 2023 did not work, and it ultimately failed. And then what happened was the residents that lived in these areas were driving these roads every day to get back and forth to go home and wherever they had to go, utilizing those roads. And this asphalt bleeding started causing problems with people's vehicles. And in this picture, you can see, I'm not laughing at the resident whose vehicle this is because this is pretty bad. I'm just amazed at how bad those roads were that caused these vehicles to be covered like that in this binder type material that was coming up from the asphalt. I mean, that is the tailpipe looks like somebody took a paintbrush with a black paint and painted it. I mean, that is just crazy. And the undercarriage, the wheel well right there is absolutely covered. It's crazy. I heard stories that this is getting on people's driveways, of course, and if they drove their car into their garage, it was getting on their garage floor, and then some of this material was actually making it inside the homes of residents in these areas that had these roads fixed with this cold mix asphalt overlay. It's shocking to me that it got this bad in a year's time. I mean, it didn't take 5 years. It didn't take 10 years. it got this bad from 2023 to 2024. So the resident that I've gotten these pictures from actually took this to another level in 2024 and went to the town of Apple Valley to file a claim to have his truck repaired. The town actually wound up telling this resident that the town was not liable for any damage to his vehicle, and then that would be up to the contractor and his the contractor's insurance company to take care of any issues or damage, since that contractor is liable for the work that they did for the town. So this resident went to the insurance company of the original contractor that did the cold mix overlay in 2023 and filed a claim. This is the response that this local resident just got here on March 24th, 2025 from Travelers Insurance Company in regards to his claim that he filed to have work done to get his truck fixed. And what it says here is, we found that CalMix Engineering Inc. wouldn't be liable for your vehicle or property damages. We have received the claim notice received from the town of Apple Valley, as our work was completed within the specification of the contract and completed in November 2023, as we properly laid down the mix per the city specification. So basically, what the insurance company for the paving contractor is saying, we put down the cold mix based upon what the town required and put out to bid. It was done the way it was supposed to be done. The town accepted the work. We got paid. There's not much we can do for you. So jumping to now, 2025, March 2025, the town had actually earlier this year went back out to bid to fix the roads that were paved in 2023 with the cold mix asphalt overlay to be done with now a hot mix asphalt overlay. And this is where the story gets really, really interesting, because of the fact that the insurance company for the original paving company said that they put down the cold mix exactly by the town's specifications. So in February 2025, which was just about a month ago, the town of Apple Valley awarded Roadway Repair 2025 project. And what it says here is, award a contract to Onyx Paving Company in the amount of $867,000 with a 10% contingency of $86,700 for a total amount not to exceed $953,700 for the Roadway Repair 2025-01 project, subject to approval by form from the town attorney and the town manager. In the background of this town council agenda report, here's what it says. As part of the town's annual paving priorities, staff evaluates local roadways and determines priority areas in need of maintenance and or repair. In the summer of 2024, staff identified segments where the previous cold mix overlay material was failing and bleeding through. Upon researching options through conversations with other agencies and technical advisors, it was determined that a conventional hot mix asphalt overlay is the appropriate solution to overcome the material failure due to it having the highest success ratio. So, this is unbelievable that in 2023, just 2 years ago, the town of Apple Valley put out a bid to have roads repaired in Apple Valley with a cold mix asphalt overlay. I'm assuming, not knowing at that time in 2023 that cold mix asphalt is really only a temporary fix, or the town did know that the cold mix was not really the right material to use, but they were trying to save money on the project, so they still went with the cold mix. I mean, there's only two scenarios here, and I gotta give the guys in town hall some benefit of the doubt that they actually know about asphalt in that building, because how could they not know in 2023 that cold mix was really not the right way to go? I mean, it's amazing to me. And then now in 2025, the town had to basically have conversations with other agencies and technical advisors. All it took me was a 10-second Google search to find out that cold mix was probably not the best fix for trying to, you know, almost permanently, somewhat permanently fix a road. So it's hard to comprehend how the town would not know, between engineering department and town management, that cold mix asphalt was not the best material to be using to begin with. So back in 2023, the town put out a bid for cold mix asphalt overlay to a cost of $1.3 million, which was paid out to a contractor because the town accepted the work and said it was good. Then residents start complaining in the summer of 2024, about a year after that cold mix was done, saying, "Hey, we want to file some claims and we want you to basically fix our vehicles." I gave you some information on one resident that gave me their information, but from what I understand, there's possibly up to about 20 different residents that have either filed claims or still going to file claims on this issue. And now, considering that the town of Apple Valley has basically publicly admitted that the cold mix didn't take and it failed, that was their words, that the cold mix failed. I would assume that maybe these local residents have some form of recourse now, because the material that used the material they used basically didn't hold up. And it's amazing that it only took a year for it to basically fall apart. So there was either issues with the material from the plant, or the contractor didn't compact it correctly. I don't know. I mean, that's something that has to be investigated. And maybe those who are filing complaints with the town or with the insurance company from the original paving contractor will be able to find out the answers to those questions. But that leads me to a completely different topic as far as the town goes. So the town of Apple Valley, just 2 years ago, spent $1.3 million to repave some roads in town with a cold mix asphalt overlay, that, if you maybe did a Google search, would know that that was probably not the appropriate material to be using. And then they had to come back in 2025 to fix the $1.3 million project and spend another $900,000 plus to cover up the cold mix with a hot mix, which now brings the total to about $2 million. The town is wasting money, and they're wasting money for things that are easily figured out prior to even spending that money. So if you wonder why some of the town roads are not being fixed, I wonder how many other issues like this have come up with the town that we haven't even found out about yet, where they fixed roads, used money to fix roads, then had to come back a year or two later and use more road funds to fix what they already thought they fixed, trying to fix the fixes. So we basically spent $2 million to fix the same roads twice. That's incredible. And that ultimately is mismanagement from the town perspective. And I think we should demand more out of the town when it comes to doing projects like this. Make sure you're using the right material to begin with. And honestly, if it costs you a little bit more to use a hot mix, then use it and get it done. Because I got to tell you, one thing that is really, really impressive is, I got to bring this video up here. I wasn't going to bring it up, but I'm going to bring it up now. What is really, really impressive is this hot mix asphalt fix on this road. I'm telling you, this is incredible. Let me show you this here. I wish that all of our roads could be repaired like this. So this was filmed just today, and this is Marmoset Road just off of Kiowa. Kiowa is right there to the right. This is the hot mix overlay that was put over top, the cold mix overlay that didn't work. But if you look at that road, that is how all of our road repairs should look in the town of Apple Valley. And if it takes 15 to 20 years to get it done, let's do 10 to 15 roads and get it done. Spend the money appropriately, use the right material to begin with, so you're not wasting millions of dollars to fix with hundreds of thousands of dollars a year or two down the road. If the town would have originally went out and did a hot mix overlay bid back in 2023, there wouldn't have been wasted money. You wouldn't have residents filing claims to get their cars fixed, and things would have been done right to begin with. It's just a bad scenario all around when it comes to just trying to fix a few roads here in Apple Valley. But I wasn't going to show this video, but it was on my mind, so I thought I'd show up. But look at this. I got to tell you, those residents on Marmoset are probably ecstatic that they get to drive home on this road every day. Man, it looks really good, and it was a good job. Road was level. I was able to drive on it. I was smooth, and just really good work done there on that road. But the amount of money that was wasted to get to this point is truly unacceptable, and nobody in town should accept that. We should not be spending road funds, which are very limited, on material that is basically publicly known not to be the right material to use to begin with, to come back and use the right material and spend just about double the amount of money to fix it. So I hope that these residents that are filing these claims get some resolution on that. I mean, some of that on those paint jobs is crazy. It's absolutely insane. You know, a little road tar here and there is okay, but absolutely crazy that the amount of material that was coming up off those roads and going on their cars and their driveways and getting inside their houses. So hopefully these people are able to get some type of resolution and some type of help with that. And that brings up a whole nother topic too, of how much responsibility does a city have when it comes to doing road work like that, and then having the road work basically fall apart and cause damage to people's cars. I think there should be some liability in that. That's something we can definitely look into further down the road. But I'd really love to hear what you think about this. If you're one of the residents that had an issue with your cars, and now you know that the town has basically admitted that the original cold mix failed, and they had to come back and fix it with a hot mix overlay. I can't even, I'm laughing because it's crazy. I mean, you can't even write a comedy sitcom this good. I mean, these guys do some crazy stuff here in the town of Apple Valley, man. It's just amazing. So let me know what you think. Is it a waste of money? Should the town have originally done a hot mix and done it correctly to begin with and saved us some money? So that's what I was kind of trying to say. You think you're saving some money, but ultimately in the long run, you cost the town more money. And so 2025 funds, almost $1 million of it for roads now went to fix something that was done in 2023. And hopefully moving forward, that doesn't happen again. So appreciate you joining me today here on a very short podcast today. I got through that one pretty quick. Hopefully everything was clear, made sense to you. Definitely let me know what you think. I know a lot of you already have many opinions about the roads here, so I can pretty much imagine what those comments will be. So appreciate you joining me today. Look forward to more podcasts coming soon, and we'll see you again. Thanks a lot. Steve Famiano with the Voice of Apple Valley.